The countdown begins. Vacation in a week. Woo woo. Hey, did you know that more people spend more time planning a vacation than they do their entire life? At least that's what studies say. Hey, welcome to another Rare Leader Call. Myself, Tony Jalen, and
Danielle Jalen.
we're excited and grateful to share with you today in terms of the topic of planning. I know around the corner, just around this corner right here, is January 1st, 2023. I know some of us are thinking, okay, what are some things we got to go ahead and start planning and thinking about for the new year? But yet the current year isn't even done. So we're going to share some thoughts of it and things that we're doing right now just to plan for our vacation and thinking about it like, how can you go ahead and apply some of these principles to planning for the new year? So both Danielle and I have different roles in our planning. Okay. I've got to make sure to get everything done with work. She's getting everything to make sure the home front is done, and they both have different responsibilities attached to it. So Danielle, like, you're amazing at planning. Like, folks, I don't know you know this, but Danielle could probably go ahead and do a YouTube video on how to properly pack with bringing the least amount of luggage. She's good at it. Uh, when you start planning for the vacation, like, when did that process start to happen? Because it's happening next week when we leave. But like, when did that process start to happen?
I guess it probably first started when I booked tickets back in February or March. Um, and just randomly picked some dates to go because airfare was the cheapest at the time. And then decided that as we got closer and we were narrowing in the dates and where we actually wanted to go, it was better just to leave them because even though there's no fees on changing your plane tickets, the cost of plane tickets dramatically increased. And so it was just smarter to go longer and stay at what we had booked.
You know, they say often, hey, if you don't schedule it, it doesn't get done. And one of the things I'm grateful for Danielle is, you know what? Vacations are important to her. And it's important for her to make sure we do it as a family. And typically, when we get done with one vacation, she's ready to go ahead and booking the next vacation. And that was a long ways out, if you really think about it. And you probably saved us thousands of dollars because of it. So, number one, in terms of planning, schedule it, right? Like, think about what's the end result you want and just put it on the calendar. And just if it's a trip, whatever it is, put the money aside and consider it done. All right. So, back in February is when you started, or February, March when you started planning for this. Then, when did you feel like the mental switch turned to be even more intentional with your days to ensure that when we go on vacation, we actually can enjoy it? Because that's a big thing. Because I don't know about you guys who are watching here. There's times which I've been on vacation, and I think there's a reason why Danielle schedules a 10-day vacation for us. It's because it takes me a few days to unplug. And by the time it's unplugged, I'm like, oh, wait, we got to go now? That's when we did 5-day vacations. And what you really helped me on, Danielle, is working harder and more diligently prior to the vacations to make sure I have the things done I have need to get done months in advance. So when did this intentional switch turn for you in terms of planning for this, would you say?
Well, I think probably 3 months out, it's more the reminders like, hey, we leave on this day. Hey, we leave on this day. Hey, we leave on this day. As a reminder to you. And then for me, I start looking at, you know, what am I going to pack? Now, this is a longer trip for us. And so thinking ahead, like, what all are the things that I need to pack to take along, getting dog sitter set up because that's important. And that obviously even adjusted and changed as we got closer because different situations came up. And um, as we talked about last week, having to put Cooper down. So that changed the dynamic of having a dog sitter coming in versus just dropping and actually staying here. So that changed. But I start to, for me, then I look at the calendar. I'm like, oh, will we have volleyball that weekend right before we leave? So um, not having those 2 days available to pack. So I start my packing process actually 2 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm sure there's some study that has been done of how many arguments happen prior to a vacation. Because sometimes a lot of times there's maybe just one person really planning it from one front versus the other. I think for me, in terms of intentionality, I mean, it's been changes for me as well, right? In my role. So got done with the high school season of coaching volleyball. I was a division sales manager all the way up until November. Well, technically speaking, it felt like it started middle of October. So I'm in a brand new role. I have a new club season going on right now for volleyball. There's a lot of changes, and I've been gone out of state for 2 weeks. So I'm sitting there thinking, man, okay, what are the most important things that have to happen? Like, and I think that's the question you got to ask yourself when you're planning a vacation or when you're planning your goals is what's the end result you want? Like, what do you want it to look like? What's the outcome you really want it to look like? If you were to paint a picture of the outcome, what would it look like and why? Okay. And I realize, like in my role, I really want to unplug, but I don't feel at that space yet that I can completely unplug. Um, and no one's telling me that I cannot, right? This is a self imposed belief that I'm putting on myself, but I do. I do. I really appreciate getting the chance to get away. Appreciate the opportunity to go and have a quality time with you and our son. And this year, we have his friend coming along with us. So I think that's what you got to ask yourself. If you're planning a vacation, look out. Okay, what's the outcome we want? Like, what do you want to experience in that vacation? Okay. Second question is why? Why do you want to have that outcome? And I think the clearer you can get on it, the more you get out of it. Like for you, you really look forward to vacations. Like when vacation comes up, like Danielle has her goals ready to go. She's ready to rock. That's why I think we have multiple of them during the year. But when you think about this upcoming vacation, and for you were to answer the question like, okay, really, what's the outcome you want to get out of it? What would you say for you besides getting some amazing sun and being by the water and having some good food?
Vitamin D. Um, I think for me, I think it's just an opportunity for us to all just to be isolated, basically, and just reconnect. I think that if we look back over the past year, like how much has happened, um, it's been nonstop, and I feel like not that we haven't had the intentional family time
Mhm.
or been connecting, but I think this is an opportunity for us to all just like take a step away from this responsibility to be able to refocus and reflect on what's all happened over the last year and what like we I know we use this time a lot to look forward to the new year and what new goals that we want to start working towards.
Yeah. I think that's another thing too. So for you, it sounds like reflection and just another level of connection for us because we work on intentionally connecting. Um, I think for me, it's that, but I really want to take a lot of time to really reflect on this last year and really unpack it in a way like a lot of amazing things happen. There are some challenges, there are some struggles, and we grew through those challenges and struggles. But yet, it's a year that I'm incredibly grateful for. And I think so many times in life, we keep on going and going and going that we don't take the time to reflect on our life. And I think a lot of times when we reflect is when someone dies, right? Some big thing happens that causes pain. And my goal, one of my missions in life is to make sure that that doesn't happen for me, right? Um, So that's part for me is like reflection, connection, and getting clarity on this next year upcoming. So then I think the next question you got to ask yourself is, after what's the outcome you want to get? What is that end result going to look like and why? Then you got to ask yourself of, okay, what has to happen in order for that result to happen? Like for me, I know history has said that our January in sales world is not always the best because people take their foot off the gas a little bit in December. So they're like, doing what they can to get back above water come January and then have to wait until February. And I don't want that. Right? I want to put the people that I have an opportunity to serve and lead in a position to start January strong. So that's one thing for me. And what does strong look like is, for us, we have a very full sales pipeline going on. People can start the first week or two out of the gates, helping new clients get on board, creating new relationships. Second thing I want to ensure that happens is that the leaders that I have an opportunity to lead, they have clarity going into this next year, and they feel confident when that clock tolls 12:01, 12 o'clock, 2023, that they're like, all right, we got momentum going into this year. Um, so in order for that to happen, I've got to be promoting activity right now, big time. I've got to go ahead and ensure any of my outstanding items, like I'm gonna get this board. It's like, okay, where are my outstanding items? And truth be told, is we have volleyball this weekend. I'm gonna be here earlier on Saturday. Actually, I got to give a talk on Saturday. Now that I think about it, but I'm gonna have my complete list here. I've got my checklist done, but I want to make sure that the people that need support have support. So yeah, I think that's the next question you got to ask yourself: like, what has to happen in order for us to have a vacation that I'm not constantly thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, it's going to happen still, I know, but I want to have it less. I want to have it less. What about for you, Danielle? Like, what are some things that you feel like has to happen prior? I know you've gotten a lot of it done, but yet for you to really enjoy a great vacation.
I just think like finishing up thing different things around the house and making sure that everything's ready for the dog sitter coming in. My brother's coming to stay, which is nice. Um,
Thank you,
yeah,
Darren, if you're watching this. Appreciate
yeah,
you.
to have family stay instead of just the company that Roxy's going to need to continue. I think she's transitioned to being a big mama's girl right now, and so I think in addition to looking for Cooper, she's going to be looking for me a lot, and having him here will help with that. That tremendously eases my mind in being able to leave on Tuesday, as well as just once we get on the plane, like whatever's not done isn't done. Like if it was that important, it needed to get done, it would have been done. Is how I'm feeling right now.
And I think I want to credit you because if you wouldn't have brought up the situation regarding, you know, the dog sitters and stuff like that, that opportunity of having Darren come and help wouldn't be there. And I think too is like when you're planning a goal or you want a certain outcome you want, I think so often, we want to do it by ourselves. And yet we have all these people that want to help if we simply just give them that opportunity to help. I mean, as simple as, like in terms of, some of the nutrition stuff we've been doing. You said you were doing it. I'm like, all right, I want to do it. And I think what triggered me, one of the things is if for those of you guys are watching, if you know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is from WWF, and he's been getting in some amazing shape and everything on that recently. And everyone's like, oh, you to come back and wrestle and, get back in the ring. And like, what motivated you to get in this kind of shape again? He goes, because I looked in the mirror and I looked like, that's it. That was it. That was it. And I get inspired when you do the things you do because I see how much joy you get out of um, being yourself at an optimal level. And so I'm like, all right, I'll do it with you. And it was amazing because at first I'm like, do I really want to have salads again and all this stuff? But it's actually been pretty good. I've been feeling more energetic. My stomach doesn't look like I'm Santa Claus bloated out 'cause I'm eating smarter. And I've released some pounds too. So thank you, Danielle, for helping me and inspiring me to do that. So I think those are the three questions you got to ask yourself when you're planning. What's the outcome you want? Why do you want that outcome? Like, what does it has to look like for you to e- enjoy that outcome? And then three, really, it's like what things you got to do. What are the behaviors you got to do? What are the things you got to do? And I know you like to write lists out, which I do too. Um, and I think there's power in writing lists because I think for me at least, it conjures up different ideas and thoughts. Oh, I gotta do that now. Oh, I gotta do that now. What else would you recommend in terms of like if you want to have a good result? What are some other things a person can do?
Well, I think aside from the list is just asking for help on different things.
Mhm.
Um, and the help's not there. Like, yeah, you can ask for the help, but that's not always necessarily at that time is convenient or going to be um, received to be given to you. So just being able to have a plan B in place in the event that that can happen.
I think that's a good point. That's a good point. I think too is to learn from your past experiences, right? I remember where there were some vacations where I really got crap done beforehand. I was like, all right, I just operated it like I normally operated. And then the vacation came and I was literally disconnected for three-quarters of vacation. And I remember how terrible I felt because of it. Like I felt like crap. I'm like, all right, the next time I do a vacation, I wrote it down in my journal. I am going to be better. And I got slowly better. And I think there was like a couple last vacations, like I really checked out. I was Saranara, see you later. Um, I think that's the thing is learn from past mistakes, right? I mean, I think so many times in life, like if you're reflecting on this year, we try to fix the past. And we put so much energy in trying to fix the past. And I've been guilty of this too, so I get it. But what I've learned is to forgive the past. Forgive it. Because when you can forgive it, you can move on and focus on what you can do now to be better. See how I got that in there, Danielle? Folks, there's a little inside joke right now. I wish I could show you guys the comedy bit. Okay, all right. Can I share it with them, Danielle?
No,
The, can I tell? Can I tell them? Can I see if I can tell the joke?
you can try.
All right. Okay. So there's this stand-up comedian, and he's talking about basically a person who's in sales. And he goes, women are all about making things better. He goes, I love women. Hey, I start my life inside of a woman. Okay. And he's like, it's all about being better from a woman. Like all she wants you to be is better. He goes, I can come home after making the $1 million sale going, "Ooh, I'm the king of the world." And she's like, you haven't put those dishes in that dishwasher yet. Be better. I think my message to you guys all, I probably didn't do it as much justice as the comedian did himself. Is my first stab at it. I'll get better at it. My point is this: 2022, it's not done yet. You still have an opportunity to be better. You still have an opportunity to go ahead and um, get that result you're after. It may not be in the shape you wanted, but you can still at least make a step to it. You know, I've learned when it comes to these applying stuff, I may not had all the time in the world in the last month or two to do all the things I want to do at the level I wanted to do. But you know what? If you only have 10 minutes, that's still 10 minutes you didn't do before. You don't have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that's still 5 minutes you didn't do before. freaking even a minute. It's a beginning. It's a start. So as we finish up here, we hope this talk on proper planning, aka prevents piss poor performance, has helped you out here to finish this year strong. Final thoughts, Danielle, from you when it comes to the topic of really being able to enjoy the outcome that you're after.
Well, it's understanding that the end of the outcome may be 2 weeks away, but yet you still have 2 weeks to make a difference and to create momentum, to build into what you want to have happen in 2023.
You got it. All right. That's all I got, folks. You know, persistent to succeed, be a rare leader. And what is a rare leader? This actually means something. A leader who is resourceful, adaptable, resilient, willing to engage and empower and equip others. And that's part of our mission, to provide you the tools and the insights so you can live your best life and remove any obstacles that might be getting in the way of it. Until next week, I'm Tony G. Allen, joined by the amazing, the incredible, the unbelievable.
Danielle Jalen.
Go ahead, be a rare leader, onward and upwards.